As ops went, this one had hit the toilet in a big way. And in Mexico to boot. 2 SEALs down. 2 more injured but ambulatory, and the shit just kept on dripping. Levi and his unit were in trouble. Evan Wilson was part 1 of the extraction team. The second half was the helicopters flying in. Gunfire ripped through the uneasy silence. Evan sank lower. In order to make the extraction, Evan's team would have to clear and hold a place for a helicopter to land. And that wasn't easy. This was a first for him. He wasn't as new to the unit as Chase and Brett, but he couldn't be called an old-timer yet either. He'd have said seasoned until this mess. Now he realized that for all the good times, he'd been relatively lucky as far as missions went. Because when SEAL ops went bad, they went deadly. But they weren't going to leave any of their men behind, especially not Levi. Sweat dripped down his forehead. High on the landing atop the plateau, he'd been picking off the enemy below one by one. There was one more. He just needed a good shot. Swade and Cooper were getting closer. Once clear, they could run in and pick up Levi. Although, knowing him, Levi wouldn't leave without Stone. But then Stone and Levi were 2 of the same. 4 of them had come over and ran into trouble immediately. Evan and the 8-man unit he was part of had been dropped in to get them out. Word was reinforcements on the enemy side were minutes away and carrying rocket launchers, while their military helicopter was 6 minutes out. Then again, those were the odds they loved. They did shitty like the rest of the world did well. It should be their motto. Another head popped up. There. He took the shot and moved on. He didn't need to see the result. He was a hell of a sniper, and that had been an easy one. Now, he shifted when he heard Marcus behind him. Left. Shit. He lined up again. Was there no end to these assholes? He took another shot. Seeing Swade and Cooper on the move, 2 of the biggest men in the unit, he sprayed the area to give them a free run. Move, 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 he whispered as he mentally ticked off the minutes before the helicopter arrived. He could hear it in the distance. A hawk's cry ripped through the air. Damn well time. Hawk and Shadow were moving through the enemy, taking them out one by one, as silent and as lethal as only those 2 could. He waited, the dust settling, the air still. Then he caught a movement on the right. He looked through his sight. Bullseye. Whop, whop, whop. The noise of their ride home echoed in the distance. He gauged it at 4 minutes out. A long 4 minutes. And he had a job to complete before then. There had been no enemy fire for 2 minutes. Then Hawk and Shadow were down there. Not much would escape them. Those that did, he took out. They were less than 100 yards from the landing site, but up an exposed hill. He had 6 men behind him. The other 2 of Levi's team were both injured. Mason and Dane were trying to stabilize them to be airlifted out. Brett and Chase were on the far side, holding their position. Whop, whop, whop. 3 minutes. Another bird cry in the sky. Good. Swade and Cooper had their men. Now to get them all back and in the air safely. He hadn't seen anything heavier than automatic rifles yet, but could hear vehicles approaching. With the damn rocket launchers, if the intel was any good. The last thing he needed was to have the helicopter go down with all of them on board. That was not a statistic he was willing to be a part of. Dane crawled up beside him. Status? They are on the return run. No enemy fire in 4 minutes. He paused. The men?